Hello, and welcome to another episode at Performance Medicine Audio and Performance Medicine Productions. My name is Andy.
I'm Kelly, and I'm keeping it natural.
We're keeping it natural today because we have a new show for you. It's called Health in Your 30s. We're actually still working on that title right now. We thought we'd call it 3 for 30, 30 for 30, 30-somethings. Kelly and I are now in our 30s. We do remember not being in our 30s, and
I don't.
Kelly doesn't feel like she's in her 30s, that's for sure. We may say she doesn't even act like she's in her 30s. We don't know. We don't know.
Bollocks.
Oh, bollocks. So we're here today to talk to you a little bit about, well, honestly, okay, we're going to keep it natural. This seems very formal. What do you do in your 30s to help bring health back into your 50s? What do you do really preventatively? When does that care start? In your 30s, we got on this subject because of skincare. We do a lot of preventative Botox. Kelly works a lot on face care and aesthetics, on how to age healthily. Really, those habits start earlier than you'd expect. Then too, so with us being in our 30s, we've had the privilege of being able to be part of performance medicine, so we can see what Dad does and Dad recommends. We get to start some of those vitamins and supplements, exercise and nutrition routines earlier. But really, I think it's important too that as we age with our skin too, that's kind of where you tell where age comes from. So that we're just going to have a show to talk about tips and tricks on best practices to start in your 30s, the best bang for your buck. What do you and should you spend money on now so you don't spend money on it later? How often do you have someone come in their 60s or 70s and say, "Can you erase these lines?"
My first tip to everybody out there is sunbathing was cute when you were a teenager. It was real cute. Getting burnt was fun. But as you're in your 20s, lay off the sun because you're going to look like a leathered mess in your mid-30s. In your 30s, stay out the sun. Don't bake. It's not cute anymore. No one wants to see a leathered lizard out there.
So the sun's not in.
It's not in anymore.
Is not in.
It was never in.
It
was in. It was cute when you were a teenager.
Or the tanning bed.
The tanning bed was out in 2002. It went out.
So our advices are going to be too. So today, we're going to have several episodes on what to do, best practices, things that are good for your skin. I think too, it does start. There's just easy things that you can do right now. One is, I think that's a great recommendation. Do not bake in the sun. Do not get burned. Do not go to the tanning bed. Two, do not smoke. Smoking, I had to say, is never cool. I don't know if it was cool at one time, but that is the worst thing that you can do for your skin is smoking. There's really there's no protective factors for smoking. There's two that are clinically relevant, but regardless, smoking is out. Three, having the right vitamins and over-the-counters on board with exercise and nutrition. That's what we should focus on today. If you'll notice, you can't see it right now because the camera's on a standstill, but we have quite a bit of vitamins that the Rogers family likes to take. Mm-hmm. Kelly has her favorites, which looks like Santa's bag down there. And then Kelly is the vitamin queen. But if you want to talk about some of the vitamins that you like and that you think are necessary.
Well, my favorites are the Digest Shield. Women tend to bloat a little bit in their late 20s and 30s, and later on, and it continues till you're dead. So Digest Shield's really great for bloating, for keeping the gut health in a good stance. I have a lot of my friends like, I'm bloated. Like, try Digest Shield. It's great for you. It's got prebiotics, probiotics. Vitamin D is a must. I love collagen gummies from Life Extension. Love those. And I do a keto collagen powder, and I'll show you. This is my favorite to mix in my coffee every morning. Beware of these at other stores over the counter. They could have a lot of sugar in it. I like this because it does not have a lot of sugar in it. Barely any. And you can do it when you're
And
on
also,
a keto diet.
there's a little bit of debate about whether or not you can actually absorb collagen through the gastrointestinal tract. So, too, with collagen elastin, that is tightening the skin. And this keto collagen powder or the collagen gummies, if you'll show the collagen gummies, those are good for hair, skin, and nails too. A lot of what we see is anecdotal of patients coming in and saying, hair's fuller, hair's not falling out. My skin feels a little bit more buoyant. You know, when people have elastic skin, that's a lot of collagen. So I think those are great. I personally love the gummies. I do those. You mentioned vitamin D and Digest Shield. Protect your gut because your gut needs bacteria. It needs gut bacteria. So Digest Shield is one way to do it, but having some sort of probiotic that can live in the gut is very important. We're going to be doing some future podcasts on microbiome labs, which is spore-based probiotics. That we'll talk about gut health there. Vitamin D is another big one. That's if we're not baking in the sun, we're also not getting vitamin D from the sun. Beat it to the punch. If you chose one thing, it's vitamin D. That is your immune system. So we're big vitamin D freaks.
Yes.
Yes, we love it.
I mean, we've got.
I do magnesium. I don't know if you do magnesium.
I do magnesium.
We do magnesium 500. It's great for cardiovascular health, blood pressure, for sleep. Also, too, for nerve conduction. I do a B complex. I love Bs.
I love wine.
Kelli
So, you know, as you get older, the next day isn't quite so nice to you.
Kelli loves wine.
Yes. And Andy loves vodka.
No, so with alcohol is a toxin, and two, there's the way that it ferments and the way that it degrades in your body can create hangovers. And so anti-alcohol is a complex that actually helps support the liver. You think of most common cause of alcohol, like a fatty liver is either going to be non-alcoholic or alcoholic fatty liver. That helps protect against it.
And it's really just got a bunch of great vitamins in it too. Zinc, vitamin C, E, thiamine. It's got a lot of great stuff in it. I also like to suggest this to
Youthful legs.
So this is actually made from horse pee, I think, or horse hoof, and it brings oxygen to your veins in your leg, ladies. When you hit 30, you might notice a little creepy crawly thing called a vein, and this is very important to get oxygen to your veins so you don't scare everybody at the pool.
So youthful legs. So you don't scare everybody at the pool. When you're not at the pool because you'd be in the sun, you told everybody not to be in the sun.
Listen, and
under the umbrella at the pool.
No, listen, you can't be a complete weirdo albino freak. Wear good sunscreen if you're going to go to the pool. Protect your chest. I'll do a demo later of my shoulder about how I applied sunscreen for about 20 years to one shoulder. And it was an experiment I've been doing for 20 years. Didn't apply it to this one. This one, it's like, there's a difference. Okay, I'll show you later. But
it's Performance Medicine's first randomized control trial right here.
I started at the age of 12 applying more to this. It's kind of like my balloon that I had for 5 years.
You heard it first here, ladies and gentlemen. Kelli's balloon for the first 5 years. This is all to say, I feel like we're kind of jumping around. So, too, in your 30s, things start to change, and you got to tackle it before it starts to let loose from you. You got to tackle it first. Weight and nutrition, exercise are huge. It's in two. I don't know if you noticed too, things in your 30s can become harder. If you're 18, you could eat garbage and you can still be ripped to shreds and do a ton of things. I've had a lot of patients tell me that once they hit their 30s or 40s, things become more difficult to get off. Weight is more difficult to get off. Starting a healthy habit is more difficult to do and to begin. So start now. Getting good vitamins, yes, but also eating well. Nutrition is huge. You, out of all the Rogers family, actually probably eat the best out of all of us.
Thank you.
Oh, nothing. Do you want
to? Yeah. If you're
say
going out
anything
to
about
Pals 5 times a day, if you're going out to Fazoli's, I mean, yes, it might taste good at the time, but I mean, it's going to catch up with you. And I like Lucas's point. Yes, our nutrition guy, he says that you need to eat at least one meal that you cooked every day, which is very interesting.
So with Lucas coming on, and we'll have more podcasts with him, our nutrition coach that we have with Performance Medicine, our first, which is exciting. He develops goals and phases with his plans. So it's not all of a sudden I need to be paleo. All of a sudden I need to cut out everything that I'm happening in my life. You make one change at a time over the course of about 1 to 3 months to then ultimately hit a goal. But there's so much in nutrition that we undervalue, and it has the most value for us.
I will say, taking that point, when it comes to nutrition and all that, I've noticed the people that say, oh yeah, I'm on this, Whole30 diet and I'm doing this for 30 days. Okay, great. So they look good for 1 week after those miserable 30 days and they're back at their old habits. Make it a habit to slowly integrate working out, taking your vitamins, doing your skincare. Don't shock yourself all at once and then go back to your habits. That's a lot of people that never have, learned the proper way to do things as far as when it comes to nutrition and exercising. Just make it a daily habit. Don't kill yourself. Don't cut everything out. I mean, because you're going to...
The daily habit's huge.
Yes.
That's huge. If you make it incorporate in part of your routine, at least something to do every day, it's going to get into your brain and that will build on itself. But the reason we're making this show is that start now. We're at the prime age to where, performance medicine is going to be around for a while. You're going to see us when we get into our 50s. So right now, we're part of that experiment too of how do we begin good, healthy habits now. I think too, a baseline, it's almost like, I read this book the other day that talked about this. When you have these new ideas, it's actually with creativity, you don't see the entire house at the beginning. It's almost like he says, instead of being an architect, you're a gardener. And so you start planting seeds in your garden. You don't see this seed grow for a while, but you have to plant them and then they grow into something really beautiful.
Yeah, you can't just take a bunch of bricks and build a huge mansion.
You heard it first here, ladies and gentlemen. You can't just take a bunch of bricks and make a huge mansion. That's right. So too, plant those seeds now. And planting seeds, and I think the seeds that we can plant today with audience and viewers right now is...
Start now.
Start now. I would say actually just take a snapshot of where you are in life right now. Getting your labs drawn and getting something like a Cleveland Heart Panel to see what your vitamin status is without vitamins, to see what your inflammatory status is, to see what your hormones are doing. Visualize where you are now and get a snapshot, get it on paper. Then start to create a plan with good vitamins where you can pick and choose the best bang for your buck. I had a podcast with our brother Ben. We've got to get Ben on a skincare regimen. What is happening to him? God love him. Oh, God love him. But Ben, if you're listening to this right now, we've got to get you... Please.
Lather your skin.
This whole thing was an elaborate ruse to have a public service announcement.
Ben, please
just wash your face.
Put the moisturizer on. I've been telling you this for 10 years. Put the moisturizer on and just start today.
So as we develop and do this program too and talk about what to do in our 30s, nutrition, exercise, and two kind of the essentials. Really not smoking, being out of the sun, wearing good sunscreen. Those are all basic stuff and getting a snapshot. As we move forward with this program,
a natural program, which brings me to say a natural way of doing things. Nothing's natural, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing. Okay. I like, it's cute when people say, oh, I just want to be natural. Okay. Well, I mean, there's ways to look natural, but never to be natural.
So here's what we got for that. I think that's a great point that you can add some synthetic materials to actually help you with healthy aging. That's another topic and another conversation. Get your baseline, your foundations first. Vitamins, nutrition, exercise, staying out of the sun or wearing sunscreen, do not smoke. That's a good snapshot of where to start in your 30s. As we progress with this program, we're going to be talking about when to inject and what to inject, because there are studies out there that have preventative Botox. We're going to talk about, actually, what I'm most excited to talk about is preventative therapy. What machines can we use from estheticians in order to build collagen and elastin now and retain it? Starting at the age of correct me if I'm wrong, 26, we start losing a certain percentage of collagen and elastin every year. And you can't rebuild that.
At the age of 25, I saw most of my friends go downhill.
I'm
Totally kidding. I'm totally kidding.
Friends and family, if you're listening.
No,
Friends and family, if you're hearing this now.
Listen, it's just like Cyrus says, it's not, there's always going to be a mountain. You want to make it move. That's where you start.
And that's where you start. So too, as we progress, we're going to talk about what machines and how often should you do those machines. If you're looking at an aesthetic point of view, how often we should be checking labs, when to start implementing hormones, because hormone implementation can happen in your 30s. But we talk about how to do that
your
safely.
Hormones are most likely off. Come see us, get them checked. Okay.
Okay, so we're going to move that for future programs and future versions of this.
Which brings us to the labs. See where you're at.
See where you're at. Get that checkpoint. So I think we've done well. I think we've confused the masses, and I'm very excited about that.
Life's confusing.
And life is confusing. This is life, and you heard it first here from Andy and Kelli. Stay tuned with us as we healthily age with you.
Thanks.
Don't go away.